Welcome to Dad's DeFi Space. I'm Kevin, and I'm so grateful you've taken a moment out of your day to spend it with me, your guide to all things crypto and DeFi. We're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a host of altcoins during today's live stream. I also want to check out the new creator coin meta on Base and how we can be farming the Base airdrop. We'll look at that very soon. I also want to take a look at some narratives I'm very bullish on, and my revised BFAT portfolio. But remember, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research and never invest more than you can afford to lose. And let's go back to that. One of the most important things in this space is education. And the best education you can get in this space is every bit of it you can take in. So check out our free course down below. And you know what? If I were you, I'd find all the free and easy to consume materials out there about crypto, DeFi, or anything else that you're interested in learning about and fill that head with knowledge. Anyway, enough about that. No. Excuse me. My boy has some company over, and they're just barging on in. So anyway, that kind of caught me off guard. So let's just take a look at the markets. Oh, God. All right, so we're going to take a look at just general crypto market overview and sentiment. Bitcoin, obviously, we know has been hovering around 109, 110 to $111,000 over the last 48 hours. Ethereum right now, 3,800. BNB, 1,078. Solana, 184. And XRP, 248. Fear and Greed sitting at 35. And the altcoin season index is at 29, which pretty much is falling back into the Bitcoin season range. Altcoins have been decimated this market cycle. And in the near term, it doesn't look like it's going to get much better. But we'll get a little bit more into how we're positioning ourselves a little bit later in the video. Because if you want to find those things out, what you really need to do is check out our free Telegram group, or go follow me over on Farcaster or X, links in the description. These are the best way to keep up with my immediate plays and what we're doing in this space. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. Bitcoin dominance has almost hit 60% again, as you can see here, and ETF flows went on the negative. Now, I do want to point something out about ETF flows. I do believe that many people see ETF flows and they really think, this has to be institutions pouring money into this space. But to be quite honest, if you really get down and look at the data, a lot of crypto ETFs are retail. It's people like my friends' fathers and, children's grandfathers. It's that generation, those who are a little bit older than Kevin, me, who are a little apprehensive about computer technology. And being apprehensive about computer technology, they are going to feel much more comfortable talking to their advisor about crypto ETFs, putting those into their portfolio. And it has caused a little bit of change this market cycle, but guess what? They still behave like retail. They sell on fear. They buy on greed, the exact opposite of what we need to do if we really want to win in this space. But let's start off today taking a look at the charts, specifically Bitcoin. we've been talking about a lot of this, and I know that if you were to go and look at sentiment over on Twitter or excuse me, X, you're going to see that I think a lot of people are throwing in the towel. Not that I want to mention names, but I'm even seeing big or not big, but let's say mid-sized crypto YouTubers who are calling the end of the cycle. Now, I don't think anyone is making a mistake if you have taken all your profit and you consider the cycle over. Profit is profit. That's one of the biggest problems in this space is people, you get the profit, you take the profit, but then the market continues on higher and you get FOMO and you buy back in. That's what kind of happened to me last cycle. Don't be like me last cycle, be like me this cycle. But taking a look at Bitcoin, right? We are sitting right at $110,081 right now. And you're looking at the weekly chart. And I wanted to show you this to mark some very, very specific areas on the chart, okay? One of these has gotten moved. There we go. Right about there. Okay. So one of those positions on the chart is what Bitcoin is going to have to conquer if we want the bull run to continue. And that area is around 116.6, 116.5 thousand. At that 116 region, if we go down on the daily, you can kind of see it's very much a zone that Bitcoin, it taps into quite a bit. It's been support, it's been resistance, and it's been very, very important. And if I were to put the Fibonacci levels up on the chart, you would see that this basically correlates to, the 50% of the short-term range. But neither here nor there. Going back a little bit closer, and you can see that Bitcoin is really, really fighting to get back above the bull market support band right here. And if Bitcoin is able to get back above that bull market support band and that level of approximately 116, it's going to be off to the races to 120, in my humble opinion. 120 on the chart, which I have it marked as 119.53, that we tapped into. I mean, you could bring it up to here, so maybe 20.5. So let's say 119.5 to 120.5. That is an area that on our long positions on Layer Bank, which, by the way, we still have a 20% deposit bonus for Layer Bank. If you use our link in the description below, it's been an exchange I've been using quite a bit recently. And we have an Ethereum long trade and a Bitcoin long trade on there that I'm going to be holding as a swing trade as we hopefully continue back up to the top of the range. Now, I don't want everyone to get too bullish there because we also have this to contend with, and it's not up yet, but I'm going to bring it up from CoinGlass. But look, we got some liquidity that could be grabbed around 108.9, 108.6 to 107.7, and then there it is, 105.620, excuse me. So that's the area that I was marking on my chart, was this lower range here, 105.62. But you know what? I want to mark in the middle of probably these two, which is going to be the lower part, let's say 108.6 and 107.7, because those are going to be some zones in the short term I may personally need to keep an eye on. So we're going to mark 106.7 and 107.8 there. He needs to go a little up. We'll do 107.5. And then, of course, there was another one at 108.5 too. Or was 108.7 actually. A little bit higher. Right about there. My point is you're going to have a possible liquidity grab where they're going to try to liquidate those those longs in the market who may have gotten in a little too hard, a little too early. Because if there's one thing I've learned in my 4 or 5 years in the crypto space is the exchanges and the whales grab the liquidity from all the crazy leverage traders out there. I mean, I've been one of those people in the past, of course, and we've all had our bouts with gambling, of course. Now, also, I wanted to point out something else of why I don't believe the bull market is over. Right now, we're on the daily. And what do you notice right here on our stochastic RSI weekly? Yeah, I see it too. It looks like a blue cross is about to occur right here. I think we have just had a downtrend going into a possible death cross, which I know some of you all have been hearing people talk about. But we may have a rally if this cross happens. It might even happen before, and I want to be positioned for it. We already kind of picked up from the bottom. Bitcoin bottomed out around 106.3, and right now we're topping into 111 right at the bottom of the bull market support band. Now, what I want to see is us get back above the bull market support band, hold it as support, get it back above 116.5, let's say. I got it marked for 0.6 and 120, and we can continue on with this bull run, because if Bitcoin does not show strength, altcoins are not going to show any strength either. Now, let's take a look at the Ethereum chart. Now, and you all know we are super heavy Ethereum. You see our range right here, our old liquidity range that we broke through. To be honest, I would probably move that down even more so like this, and wider like this. Now, it doesn't matter. Let's zoom in where we are. So on the chart, if you look, we are still above the bull market support band. Not by much. And I am definitely keeping an eye on ETH right here, because if Ethereum fails to maintain support above the bull market support band, altcoins are going to bleed, and those of us out there who are heavy in altcoins are really going to feel it. But just like Bitcoin charts, what do you notice? You see a stochastic RSI cross right here, and this is what I really want to show you. If I go onto the weekly chart, right, I really want to see us. Let me find it. Boom. You see this little area right here that we're pretty much getting into? I want to see us get back above and stay above around 3,900. It's actually a little lower than that, but I'm going to say 3,900. I mean, this is going to be a super important area on our chart. I know this chart's getting like terribly, terribly messy at this point. That's right going into the bull market support band. We're going to mark this one some weird fluorescent colors so it'll stick out. And that's what we're watching. Now, Ethereum had shown so much strength over the last few months, but ever since Ethereum topped out, almost tapping into $5,000, Ethereum has not looked as strong as it did. Now, I'm still super heavy in Ethereum, but that doesn't mean that I'm not still also heavy in Bitcoin. But I just feel that once this last phase picks back up, which is my thesis, Ethereum is going to heavily outshine Bitcoin. Although in the near term, I could still see Bitcoin dominance going back up. I just don't want to time this. Now, I wanted to take a look at a couple pieces of news. First and foremost, I wanted to take a look at virtual protocol. Now, we do have a virtual bag on Moonwell protocol. We lend it out, borrow some USDC. It's done extremely well the last couple of weeks. We'll look at the chart in just a minute, but I'm pretty sure about a 91% gain, which is crazy. But I don't think that virtuals is on another breakout. I think it actually could be really risky getting into virtuals right now. It's looks like the price is trying to consolidate in this area, and we'll talk about it in just a minute. But what I really wanted to get to are some of the reasons that this seems to be happening to virtual. Number one and foremost, it was added on Robinhood, and they're really making a lot of connections within the robotic space, which really could help them to grow, especially with the AI agent narrative. Now, crazy thing, it seems like smart money was accumulating this one. The question is when are they going to take some short-term profits? So quickly, let's take a look at the virtual chart, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Right? This is our old virtual chart. We bottomed out around 31 cents. I started buying virtual again right around here, around 78, 79 cents, adding to our lending position. For those of you who have been with the channel for a really long time. And please let me know coins or protocols or things that you would like me to make a video on. I had a request, it seemed like, on X to maybe do another deeper dive into things going on with Aerodrome. And just let me know what you're into in the space down below, and we'll check that out. Now, what I would like to talk about with virtuals is how long can this last? Virtuals literally over the last 3 weeks has gained 167%. If you go from the bottom of, like, when we bottom out, the massive liquidation event, you're looking at 500%, and that was great. I used it to kind of whittle down some of my lending position, so I did take some profits on my virtual. Now what's it done? It's run again. But it never hurt anybody taking a little bit of profit. Now, what I think is really cool is if you take a look where the bull market support band is right now, which is $1.28, it is going to move up if it consolidates in this higher region, but I could see us revisiting the bull market support band. So I'm going to keep an eye on the bull market support band on virtual, which will make its way up. So we're talking, like, hypothetically between $1.35 and maybe $1.53 to $1.60, anything where, like, anywhere below where we are now. I guess once we go below $1.54 to $1.50, to me is all right. Time to buy some more virtual. Not buying it right now, but what do you know? Right before the pump happened, ooh, a stochastic RSI cross, like we have talked about so much. So that's why it's always good to educate yourself. So check out DADSDEFISPACE.org and get yourself free crypto and DeFi education. Sign up for our free course and even check out our private group. All right. Next one I wanted to take a look at as far as the news, it's become my absolute favorite AI play. I'm not accumulating Render token anymore, although I'm not selling it either, but I am heavily accumulating BitTensor and some of the subnet alpha tokens. Now, I do want to make you aware the alpha subnets are extremely risky to invest in, and we do have a deep dive video coming out later today or tomorrow on the TAO ecosystem, blockchain, their tokenomics, because it's a lot like Bitcoin. And it's part of the reason that I'm so bullish on what they're doing. But BitTensor has bumped 23%. It might be time for me to actually take some profits as Europe launches the first TAO ETP. Now, what's crazy about this is that 23% jump in BitTensor, some of my alpha tokens are up 100%, which allowed me to accumulate more TAO. That's why this is one of my favorite ways to earn yield in this space, especially if you're bullish on AI. So it's hard to say what's going to happen, but the ecosystem of BitTensor seems very robust, and ETPs in Europe, maybe an ETF later in the future in America, who knows? But excuse me, this is a token I'm extremely bullish on. And then I thought we could get into some AERO news. Aerodrome also soared 10% in the last little bit because Amamoka has bought Aerodrome as kind of a digital asset, Amamoka Brands, and that's one of Asia's top Web3 gaming development investment firms. So it's a gaming firm out of Asia, and they have put a ton of their, or not a ton, but a good amount of their treasury into the AERO token, which is bullish for AERO. I wonder if they're going to be locking up those AERO token to get some of those sweet fees and rewards and vote on which pools are the ones that we're going to want to farm. But let's take a look at Aerodrome chart now. And we can see not just that, but how the news affected Aerodrome. And if you look here, what do you see? Oh yeah, there's my fib levels on Aerodrome. I did a post on that as far as like kind of a ladder strategy or how you could do use an LP to take profits. We were using the fib levels. Again, check it out. It's going up. There's that 10% jump. And what did you have right before it? If you look right there, stochastic RSI cross, and it looks like it almost coincided almost directly with it, right? What's this? So that was the Fed press conference. It happened right before. So do they know more liquidity is coming to the market? Or all the AERO investors just bullish? Or did the ETP, Amamoka Brands, did they just buy so much they pumped the price? Who knows? But look, it's a central liquidity hub of Base. They're doing token launches in one of the fairest ways I've ever seen in this space. Their reward system is interesting, the way people vote on admissions. And now they are integrated into Coinbase and the Coinbase app. I find this extremely bullish for Aerodrome. So it's definitely one of my top altcoin plays. Of course, not financial advice, but that's just me. Now, what's crazy is, let me take these fib levels off. I don't really need those. This is when Aerodrome's pump started. And honestly, it's more than 10%. It's like 50, probably 100 from the bottom. But today, check this out. There's our 10% pump today. All right. So here's the thing, though. If you notice, I go down on a daily, we're getting a stochastic RSI cross down. So we're going to have to see if that translates into the weekly one starting to go down too. That usually shows that a reversal is coming. Just be aware. Better mark that one down. Okay. Now, another piece I wanted to look at today is Plume. You know that Dad is bullish on RWAs, and we have a good amount of Ondo, but we're accumulating Plume too. They have seemed to have a lot going on. And they're starting to pick up more and more total value locked. It's receiving a lot of interest in different funds, and it's been seeking a lot of licenses for tokenized stocks and securities. I feel like Plume and Ondo are kind of trying to position themselves to be like the de facto RWA players in the States and possibly elsewhere, of course. But I'm bullish on Plume, and I'm glad I was accumulating because it rose 25% as the network is now registered by the SEC. They want to offer tokenized securities, don't we all? And these protocols are going to be probably more for institutional players. And I feel like over the next 5 years, there's going to be a high demand in the place. Not that I'm going to hold on to this token for 5 years. I plan on selling out on majority of my altcoins at the end of this market cycle, right? But let's take a quick look at the Plume chart. We'll just take a look. Not this one. It's a little better. Here's Plume chart. See on Plume, we barely have enough time to really have much of a bull market support band. Yes, it is below the bull market support band. Chart looks kind of, see that? Yeah, kind of bad, right? I would, we need to seriously get back above what was like kind of our old support right around here, right? That's about 7 to 8 cents. So hopefully we can reclaim that. I want to wait and see if this pump continues. If it does not, I may accumulate a little more. I'm not buying right now, just holding. But I am bullish on Plume, even though this chart looks absolutely terrible in my opinion. Now, final token is kind of a surprise because I didn't list it in today's stream, and that is the Aster DEX token on created by Binance. Aster actually zoomed 20% because Binance's CZ purchased 2 million Aster tokens, right? Now, we are providing liquidity on Aster. I'll show you my VFAT portfolio in just a minute, but it had a terrible few weeks. And now that the Binance Finer has purchased 2 million Aster tokens, people have got more bullish on it. So we'll just have to wait and see how this plays out. But we can take a quick look at Aster on the charts. All right, let's check them on Binance. So the Aster token, as you can see, it looks worse than Plume, does it not? Ooh-wee. Yeah, it looks pretty bad. All right, look at that. It has been on a terrible downtrend for quite a while, right? Debut at $3, bottomed out at $1.49 on the day. Low here was $1, $1.02, 95, 84. Doesn't look quite as bad as Avantis on base, but doesn't look good either. This is one we're going to continue providing liquidity for, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens with this one. But I am going to be converting my profits to USDT or Bitcoin just because. This is a very, very risky token, but it's also one that could have quite a bit of reward. Its relationship with CZ, Binance fame, and then of course, he was the one who always wanted, like, we need decentralized perpetuals because he's one that's had issues with governments in the past. I mean, he just got out of American prison. Go figure. Now, next, I wanted to kind of change gears and take a look at my VFAT portfolio. Now, my VFAT portfolio is, I've had these positioned in Crystal. I just re-entered them or deposited the NFTs back into VFAT. Anyone who's on the stream, I apologize. I'm having a really hard time like checking my comments. So if you have comments in there, I'm going to take a minute to try to check those out now and see if we can. Okay, perfect. All right. Well, anyway, right now we're looking at my VFAT portfolio. Now, these positions are actually on 3 different blockchains. VFAT is a automatic liquidity and yield farming management tool. You can automate your DeFi with it. Now, I don't always keep my positions in here, and sometimes I use it just for their their rebalancing and their fee. They really streamline and make it easy for you to manage your positions, but there have been concerns in the past as far as safety, security, and some other measures. Now, right now, you're looking at my VFAT portfolio. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see this a little better. You can see that I have 3 base positions on the base network. One is a wrapped ETH USDC farm on Aerodrome. Another is a newer position I just established. And then we've had a massive drop, which has been great because now I'm going to have a great time to accumulate. So a lot of my profits might actually feed into the Zora position in the near term. But we have that wrapped ETH USDC, around $600. We have a Zora USDC which is also an aerodrome position. That one is a 40% wide range and $100. Right now, I plan on adding a lot more to that one. And then we also have a position that I'm not in right now, but I'm just holding on to some pennies to keep an eye on it. I do this sometimes at VFAT, Orca, other liquidity management tools out there. And that is a wrapped ETH syrup position. Now, I don't have any capital in this one, but it's earning around 42% APY with a 60% wide range. Now, the other one that I haven't mentioned is actually on the Avalanche blockchain. There's been a lot of buzz about Avalanche recently, right? And what I find really interesting about this one is their black DEX, which is it's very much like Aerodrome as far as the architecture, of course. I'm bullish on DEXs on blockchains where I don't know as many of the coins on them. And this is the newer DEX that I plan on providing some liquidity for and farming some black tokens, which we've already been doing. Now, this is a smaller position. It's only, $100 too, $90. Excuse me. It's earning approximately a 92% APR with a 30% wide range. Now, I will say this, going back to the Ethereum position. This position is less than a 10% range. It's super, super narrow. So super, super risky. I'm only farming it until ETH gets up close to the $4,000 range. When we get up to that $4,000 range, I'm going to rebalance this one into a much wider range above or up to 5,000 because that's where I see ETH going to in the midterm. So enough about this. I want to talk about the Aster position. And now this one has not been very good just because the price action of Aster has been in the toilet. We got a few $100, how much? Almost $500 into this position. And we are earning a 142% APR with a 30% wide range on a relatively correlated pair. We'll just have to wait and see how bullish Aster gets. That article of CZ buying earlier today helps me feel a little bit more bullish, but we're still going to be converting most of our tokens back to USDC to kind of de-risk the position here with our VFAT portfolio. Now, the next thing I wanted to take a look at is I wanted to talk to everybody about how to farm the base layer 2 possible airdrop. Now, I plan on making a more detailed video on this in the future, but I wanted to take a look at an article that I published just a couple days ago. Okay. We're at DADSDEFISPACE, and these are all the different articles that you can access, free education to help expand your knowledge in crypto and DeFi, of course. And right here, excuse me. So Coinbase created their own blockchain to kind of compete with some of the other layer 2s out there, or they just didn't want to be part of the crowd that already existed, which back then would have been Arbitrum, Optimism, Matic, which is now Poly, things like that. So Coinbase created the base layer 2. Now, for the longest of time, the creator of base layer 2, Jesse, never said they were going to have a token. He always said, we're not exploring a token, probably not having a token, not having a token. Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, said the same thing. Well, the CEO, or at least Jesse the other day, now they're talking about a possible airdrop. The thing is we farm lots of airdrops. Farming airdrops usually involves lending, DeFi, providing liquidity, doing trades on DEXs. They want you to use the blockchain. But the creator of Base, Jesse Pollock, he has seemed to be huge in creator coins and creation on the blockchain. And we're going to talk about that. So the thing is, base layer 2 becomes that blockchain. And a little bit later, we're going to discuss how and what you can do to farm and get hopefully a possible allocation of this airdrop, which if it does occur is going to be one of the biggest ever, in my humble opinion. Now, the key features of why this airdrop could be worth something has to do with the usability and consumer base of the base layer 2 network. So number one, people like it because the developers, it's scalable, right? It has fast and can go through lots of transactions. That's probably one of the biggest problems most blockchains have. It has lower transaction fees, right? And it only, because of its layer 2 mechanisms, it only needs a few cents for transaction fees. Transaction speeds are faster. You have interoperability with different blockchains and very much enhanced security. Now, Base was built on the Optimism stack. And the thing is they're integrating straight into Coinbase, which makes it even easier for them to bring in new users, which is the purpose of the network. Now, let's get to the simple meat and potatoes of the discussion today, and that is, what kind of things can you do to qualify for the base airdrop? Okay. First and foremost, they have created the Base Guild XYZ. Now, the Base Guild actually is, you can sign up. I'm going to show it to you right now. And you perform certain tasks. Some of them are social. Some of them are the usage of the Base blockchain. Now, I've already connected most of my stuff. I'm not connected right now, but they're going to check your on-chain transactions. So if you're already using apps that we're going to look at in a moment, like Zora or Farcaster, you are already getting yourself, hopefully, a little bit of that Base airdrop. Now, we don't know if they're going to be giving airdrop as much to the traditional methods, which would be people providing liquidity over on Airdrop, but we're doing that too, or providing liquidity on a platform like Aave. So as you can see, they're looking for builders and founders, creators and voices, right? And they want your wallet to have lots of on-chain transactions. So if I want an allocation of that Base airdrop, right, I would want to be using these apps. So I've left my Farcaster address in the description. Come check it out. Go add me over there. Consider joining Zora. I don't have the link. I could post it in just a minute. Hold on. All you got to do is, there you go. Come join me over on Zora, right? And we'll put the link into the chat. If you're on the stream and you're not already a member, please consider subscribing, liking, supporting the channel, and go check out DADSDEFISPACE, of course. But going back to how we're going to farm the Base airdrop is we're going to join the Base Guild, and we're going to do everything they want us to do and join their Discord. Get that role. We're going to provide liquidity over on Airdrop. I don't know how much this is really going to help, but I want to be, I want my transactions on the blockchain to show I'm heavily involved in the Base network. we are lending. You should lend on either Aave or Moonwell, and I'm lending AERO, USDC, and Ethereum right now. Oh, and virtual, excuse me. We go over to the Zora app, buy some creator tokens, help support us, buy DADSDEFISPACE creator token. To be honest, we are recycling most of our fees right now right back into the token, and we'll look at that in just a minute. Participate in governance. And then one that we didn't talk about, right? Or some other ones. They have some other apps like Farcaster. Farcaster very much is sort of the, what would you call it? Like the Facebook of the base blockchain. Actually, it's multiple blockchains, but you can go add us there. DADSDEFISPACE.base.eth, or just our name is the Captain 1013. Don't come in. And then I would also like to show you our Zora account. So Zora is very much set up, in my opinion, like Instagram. It's pretty cool. We are posting some art content, life content, and those who are in the Telegram group or follow me on Zora got my market report a little bit early. Same stuff we talked about. We're trying to break out of 110, where our key resistances are. Excuse me. Ethereum has a little bit extra that I did not talk about in the stream today. And then it also has my current trades, which I guess we could take a look at maybe, but I am running out of time. So what I would like to do is not just show you my account, although we can take a look at the chart. See, it's been doing good. I mean, we're a micro cap, $400 of volume, and 18 holders though, right? Holding strong. You see some of the other creators that are already on Zora, but there are creators on here doing art, education, all kinds of cool stuff. I find it interesting. If you want to talk with somebody, they have to buy the post. And then people are buying, trading, selling different creator tokens. Now, if you don't believe me, here's my token, or community token, because I don't plan on rugging this, of course. And if it does, it's going to be, I'm going to be announcing when I'm selling, is what I mean. Anyway, you can take a look right here. That's our chart. All right. Not a lot of volume, but not bad. It has been selling off a little bit, people taking profits, but you can see our buybacks here and here and here and here. Well, excuse me, we plan on doing that in the near future, at least until the bull market is over, and then we'll reevaluate and let everybody know. But if you want to farm the base airdrop, I would be hosting on Farcaster. I would be creating stuff on Zora. I would be creating writing on Paragraph, which is another base blockchain protocol we can talk about in the future. And then, of course, I would want to get in on the base app, which we don't have an invite code yet. But if you have an invite code, shoot me a DM. I would love it. And I'm going to be active. Anyway, I'm curious to see where this is going and what's going to happen for the duration and the rest of the bull run. Okay. So in the near term, I hope that all of you all filling out the rest of your bull run bag and you're making a plan to take profits, because profits are going to be something that a lot of people aren't going to have in this space. They are going to, hey, Stella, they're going to end up becoming bag holders because they're not going to be able to control their emotions. So farm that base drop. Watch again if you need to look at those levels, or do your own research and create your own levels of where you think the market is going. It never hurts to take profits and take care of yourself. Get your rest, spend time with friends and family, go touch some grass. And help support the channel by liking and subscribing, checking out DADSDEFISPACE. And if you want to trade, check out our link for Layer Bank, 20% deposit bonus and 15% off fees. Dad negotiated that for you. And of course, check out our affiliate links if you want to help support the channel. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, have a great week. Peace.